I'm Sister Delia, and I'm here with the amazing Milani, and we are going to be doing something a little different for the youth expressions this month. We're going to do something called a book tasting. So earlier this week, me and Milani, we each picked about 4 books that we, thought looked interesting, and we gave ourselves about 5 minutes to just skim through each book quickly to see how interested we would be in checking out these books and reading them. So before we get started with our book tasting, I want to ask Milani some questions. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. How do you feel about reading? Like a really, really honest, just how do you feel about reading in general?
I enjoy reading whenever I'm bored and don't have anything to do. I'll read a book.
Okay. Can you remember how old you were when you started learning how to read?
3.
Okay. And then do you remember any books that you liked as a little kid, or like even if you don't remember the title, do you remember, were there any characters or stories that you really liked when you were little?
I grew up reading, learning how to read and reading Dr. Seuss books, so most of the Dr. Seuss book collection.
Okay, cool. All right, so what are you reading right now?
I'm reading the book Behaving Like Adults by Anna Max.
How's it going so far?
I stopped reading it.
Okay. Okay. All right, so let's get started. We're going to go back and forth. We each picked 4 books. So do you want to start with your first book? You're going to rate it on a scale of 1 to 5 stars. 1 being, I am not interested in reading this book at all. And 5 being, I tasted this book, I sampled it, and it seems really interesting and I want to read it. You're going to rate it 1 to 5 stars. So do you want to go first with your first book?
Yeah, do I just give the title?
Yeah, just hold it up. If you have it with you, just hold it up and give us the title and tell us what you know about it and how interested you think you would be in reading it for real.
Okay. This is the book. I don't really know much about it, but I read the back of it and it seems interesting, but I don't know if I'll like it, so I'll rate this one a 3.
Okay. I'm going to do my first book. It's called, you can't see it. I don't know if you can see it with my background. It's called Forget Me Not. I started it. I just kind of started the beginning of it and I looked at the cover and I read, like you said, I did the same thing. I read the back of it. It's about a girl who has Tourette syndrome, but she's trying really hard to hide it because she doesn't want people at her school to know. So that part seems interesting. But the first chapter that I read, it seems like it's a verse novel, so I'm not sure how interested I am in reading the story. I like stories. So I would rate this one like a 3.5 stars for my first book. What you got?
This book, I feel like I would enjoy reading this one, so I'll give it a 5.
What did you read? The summary or anything like that?
I just like the cover.
Okay. What'd you give that one a rating?
5.
Okay. My next one it's called Ninth Ward. It's about a girl named Lanisha. She lives in Louisiana, in New Orleans. And I don't know if you ever heard of Hurricane Katrina. So her grandmother has this premonition, this vision that this huge hurricane is coming, but nobody really believes her. And it ends up being Hurricane Katrina. And she lives in the Ninth Ward that was really destroyed by that hurricane. So it seems like it might be interesting, but it seems like it might be a little bit sentimental, kind of sappy. And I I don't know. I would rate this one a 4 because it looks like it might be interesting, but I'm just not sure. What you got?
This book, according to the back, it's talking about how this girl has her life all planned out, and that's all I got to, but I'm guessing something major happens. I give this a 4.
Okay. I've actually read that book. It's hilarious and amazing. Here's a book that I've actually read before. This is my book 3. I've actually read this book before. This is one of the, I'm sorry, you can't see it. This is one of the first books that I ever read by myself. I was a kid and I don't know. This book is called Silent to the Bone. It's about a boy who answers a 911 call. He makes a 911 phone call, but when he tries to tell the operator what's going on, he can't talk. and it turns out his baby sister is 5 months old and she's in a coma and nobody can figure out why. And this boy who tried to call to save his sister, he cannot talk. So his best friend has to kind of help him and visit him, you know, and try to help him figure out, like, find his voice again so they can figure out what happened and rescue his baby sister. So I would rate this one a 5 only because I've actually read it before and I just really like this book. It's called Silent to the Bone.
This book is Marcus Vega Doesn't Speak Spanish, and it's about how this boy gets in trouble, suspended from school, so his parents send him to Puerto Rico. I don't know.
He gets suspended?
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
I'll give it a 4 too. A 4.
Okay. How many books was that for you? Was that 3 or 4 for you?
4 for me.
All right, so for my last one, I'm picking another book that I've actually recently finished reading. It's called A Mall Unbound. I really liked the cover. I thought the cover was so beautiful. I love, like, it's kind of like henna, but it also looks like art on it. And it's about a girl who lives in Pakistan. Her name is Amal, and she accidentally offends like this royal person in her town and ends up getting sold into slavery into that family, and she has to kind of fight her way back home and all that kind of. It really had some sad parts, and it also deals with, like, her mom's going through, like, depression because she just had a baby and she's trying to, like, balance everything. And again, she got sold into slavery in this guy's house because he, you know, got offended by her. So I feel like I learned a lot about, like, that culture, and it was really cool. But I feel like I could have gone further. Like, the book is not that long, so I would rate this one a 4.8 because it was really interesting, but I wish it would have given us, like, a little bit more. So that's my book number 4. All right, so out of the 4 books that you picked, which of those are you most likely to pick up and, like, actually read? Seem the most interesting.
This one.
Okay. I'm thinking for me, it's gonna be. I think I'm gonna give this one a shot. I think I'm gonna give Forget Me Not a shot. So that's all. I hope that you enjoyed our little book tasting, and maybe we can do this again. Would you be willing to do this again with me sometime?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Bye, people.
Bye.
Stop the recording.